Greetings, members, one and all of the Salivation Nation, all the copper in the world. Let's explore! You know, I do talk about other metals on this channel. This is why the channel is called Salivate Metal, and rather than Salivate Gold or Salivate Silver or Salivate Platinum. And trying to kind of a little bit of diversity. That's what it's about. And you've heard me talk about copper in the past. If you're intimately aware of the channel, I've posted videos about the metal before. But now we have an infographic that talks about all of the copper in the world, and we're going to explore this. And I want to encourage you to check out the video at the end screen of this video called Why I Love Copper. Talks a little bit about it there as well. But what about all the copper in the world? Visualizing all the copper ever mined and how important it is to the world in terms of how it is used for economic development, urbanization, and a sustainable future. And, you know, it is very diverse in its uses, but mainly it is used in industry for sure. I don't think it's quite as diverse as silver, but it's certainly more widely used. And so some people are a little worried that, well, are we going to run out of this red metal anytime soon? If we look at global copper production, we can see the populations and economies across the globe that certainly have grown exponentially over the last few decades. And that means the need for copper has increased as well. From 1995, there were 9.8 million tons of copper produced. In 2019, there were 20 million tons produced. That's over double what we saw in 1995. And so that leaves us with the question is, are we running out of copper? The answer is not so soon. And I agree with that. Despite the growth of copper production and demand, it's highly improbable that we're going to run out of it anytime soon. And so when we have about 700 million metric tons of copper mined, that value of that much copper is around $4.2 trillion, using the 2019 average of about $6,042 per ton. And the three biggest top producers of copper are Chile, Peru, and China. They're the three biggest producers of mined copper. So that's how much has been mined, and you can see from this graphic where that is as opposed to how much of it is underground. And they estimate that there's about 2.1 billion metric tons underground yet. And just 5 countries hold 65% of discovered resources, such as Chile, Australia, Peru, Mexico, and the United States. But the total amount of discovered copper that is yet to be mined is that much, 2.1 billion metric tons. If there were no new discoveries of copper deposits at current production rates, it would take another 105 years to mine all of the currently known copper deposits. And this does not account for recycling. So, you know, more likely there will be a lot more recycling done as well to counter that. And doesn't also account for potential new discoveries. And we've talked about some of these mining companies out there that are making discoveries of silver, which means they're discovering other base metals as well, because the vast majority of silver that's mined is as a byproduct of other metals, such as nickel and, of course, copper. And so it's an integral part of the modern economy, and more of it will be needed as we work towards a sustainable future. And so that means that more likely with renewable resources and things such as solar and the like, you know, copper will play a role in those. And everybody talks about silver, but you got to remember copper will play a role as well. But I believe that copper's price is going to be adjusted as a commodity. But understand fully that that copper is the only metal that is still used as money. And copper is money and is still used in our currency. To this very day, copper is used around the world in currency. There may be less of it now than there has been ever before in our coinage, the debasement of even copper, but it is a base metal and it is money. And I think what I found quite interesting here, especially when we can see that rise in copper production, is some of these numbers about how much has been produced and the reserves that some of these countries have. So Chile is number one with 5,600 kilotons, I guess that's what that is, of copper produced. And that country also has the largest reserves in 2019 of 200,000. That's pretty amazing indeed. And Peru is second, China third. And with the amount of reserves, Peru and Australia are tied for second. But Russia is fourth. But look where the United States ranks. They're number 4 in mine production, 1,300, just ahead of Congo, barely ahead of Congo. China's not that far ahead of us, though, but they are ahead of us. But look where we rank in terms of reserves. We have much less than Chile, 51,000 in reserves. Well, those reserves are basically for industrial production and the like. Fascinating indeed. So we don't know. We're not running out of copper anytime soon. We don't have to worry about that. And we probably don't have to worry about where the price is going to go, because more than likely, any kind of movements in price will be along with other commodities based off of inflation and the like. But I always tell people ask me, well, should I start stacking copper? Well, hey, it doesn't hurt. But the only way you should stack copper is in your pure copper sends, which are 95% copper, 5% zinc. And those are what you should stack if you're here in the United States, or what other metal out there, or what other coins you have in the country that you live in. Find the purest copper that you can find out there and stack it. I've got a piece of poured copper in my hand right now. It's kind of neat to have it in hand. It's a very abundant metal, but it is unique in so many different ways. I like copper, and I love it. And you'll see at the end screen of this video, in a video I've entitled Why I Love Copper. So there you have it. I hope you found this video interesting and useful, because we do cover other metals on this channel as well. And copper is certainly an important metal for many different reasons and many different ways. And it'll continue to be an important metal for quite some time to come. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed. I would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for taking the time to watch this video, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.